Okay, this will serve as a review for Intro to Philosophy Exam 2 on Aristotle and Socrates. So I'm just going to go through the questions here. I don't know if they're randomized or not, so you can pay attention to the actual question rather than the question order. For here, one, for Aristotle, eudaimonia, happiness, is an activity in the soul in accord with virtue or reason. So that seems pretty straightforward. That is indeed Aristotle's definition of happiness or eudaimonia. An activity in the soul in accordance with reason, activity in the soul in accordance with virtue. Not a passivity in the body, but an activity in the soul in accordance with what is in our own most essential nature. Question 2. For Aristotle, the upshot of his ethics or practical philosophy is essentially to live a life guided by reason, not emotion, in a way that allows for a proper kind of self-love, which thereby enables one to live in a disciplined manner, live a life in a disciplined manner, desiring and loving the right things. Yeah, so for Aristotle, happiness as an activity in the soul in accordance with reason means reason guiding emotion, regulating self-love, and disciplining the passions, disciplining the desires, and learning to like and habituate yourself to like the right things. Next, for Aristotle, eros, although ephemeral or short-lived, remains the highest types of love, since it is rational and thus based upon the good character of each person. Now remember, philia is the highest love for Aristotle and is the rational love for Aristotle and is based on the good character of each person. Not eros. Eros is the ephemeral or fickle desire that really is a need for something you don't have yet. For Aristotle, every choice and action we make has a telos. Every choice, that's right, every choice for Aristotle, every action and choice have an end, a goal, an aim, a purpose. Every choice has a reason. For Aristotle, pleasure and use friendships are the highest and most satisfying types of friendship. For Aristotle, the virtue friendship is the highest and most satisfying. Pleasure and use friendships, while still friendships, are only friendships in an equivocal sense. That is, in a stretch sense, almost an analogous sense. Okay, the meaning is shifted. Eros means being in love, which is synonymous with desire or need for an object that one does not yet have or possess. Yes, Eros is, or being in love, or romance, or whatever you want to call it, is need. It's synonymous with need or desire. And need or desire is predicated on something not quite being there, something being a little out of reach. Characteristic of the Socratic method, Socrates demonstrates Socratic irony when he feigns to be wiser than interlocutors, evidencing to them that they do not know what they thought they knew, that is, that they are ignorant. Now remember, Socratic irony in the Socratic method, Socrates feigns to be ignorant. He pretends to be ignorant, unknowing, an idiot, just asking questions, and when in fact he's actually trying to get them to realize that they don't know what they thought they knew. So that's the irony. He's feigning to be ignorant. The Delphic oracle, speaking for the god Apollo, prophesies that there is none wiser than Socrates. Socrates takes this literally to mean he is the smartest and most knowledgeable human ever to live, far above the rubes of Athens. Well, Socrates takes what the Delphic oracle says seriously and questions and says, well, wait a minute, I don't know anything. What does it mean that I'm wise? Oh, wow, the only reason I'm wise is that I know that I don't know. I'm not really smarter than anybody. Irony says the opposite of what is meant or intended. This tension between what is said and what is meant does not illuminate the distinction between appearance and reality. Irony does illuminate the distinction between appearance and reality because it says the opposite of what is meant, or what appears is the opposite of what is meant. So, oh wow, it's a real cold day out today. It's 90 degrees today. That's irony in the form of sarcasm, but it's the opposite in tension between the visible and the invisible world. Socrates argues that in the end it is better to commit injustice than to suffer injustice, since justice itself is an objective form or intelligible reality. Well, justice is an objective form and intelligible reality, but Socrates argues that it's better to suffer an injustice than to commit an injustice, precisely because to commit one destroys your soul, whereas you suffer one, that someone can only hurt your body, not your soul. Socrates argues that the examined life is not worth living. Socrates argues in the Apology that the unexamined life is not worth living. For Plato and Socrates, philosophy and philosophizing are preparation for death, since to die is nothing other than to separate the soul from the prison of the body, the very activity philosophy engages in as it ascends to the metaphysical world of the forms. Okay. Plato argues that since the forms exist, perception is reality. Remember, perception has to do with the sensible world. We intellect the forms, and what's most real are the forms. So when we perceive something, we could be looking at it the wrong way, or we can misunderstand due to sensation. Therefore, reality is reality and is not determined by perception. For Christian readers of Plato, for example, St. Augustine, the forms were reconcilable with Judeo-Christian, with a Judeo-Christian God as ideas in the mind of God. Yeah, I mean, that these, the good, the true, the beautiful, these were seen by Augustine as really having ontological status, that is, being real in the mind of God, or a reflection of the essence of God even. So some of the short answers: describe in your own words what Aristotle means by happiness. Happiness is an activity in the soul in accordance with virtue. It's something you habituate in yourself through repeated habit. Although we didn't really talk about that in intro. It's this, just what I'm looking for is that it's a rational activity that we discipline ourselves to, that we learn to like the right things, that we aim at the right things, that we satisfy our actual essence. And happiness is the same for everybody, remember. And it's in our responsibility to be happy, because we all have the same nature, for Aristotle. Something along those lines. In your own words, what is the Socratic method? How does it make use of irony? Can you think of an example of Socratic irony? So I won't give you an example because I'm looking for that for you, but the Socratic method, of course, is when Socrates pretends to be, uses irony to pretend to be ignorant with the goal of showing the other person that they don't know what they thought they knew, because that means to make them wise. If the wisdom is the recognition of one's own ignorance. Something like that. And then, is there anything else? There's only 2 short answers. Okay, all right.